When organizations deploy artificial intelligence, they usually point to one specific safety protocol to reassure everyone: the human in the loop. It's pitched as our ultimate safety blanket, promising that a real person is always standing between an AI's output and the real world. In practice, this protocol looks exactly like a tired employee staring at a screen, manually reviewing and clicking approve on a never-ending stream of individual actions. The logic assumes that if a human checks every single line of code or text, the machine cannot make a catastrophic mistake. But tying a hyper-fast, highly capable system to a one-to-one human review process is a mechanical failure waiting to happen at scale. The machine generates output faster than a human brain can critically evaluate it. Treating AI safety as a constant manual babysitting job is mathematically obsolete. In high-volume environments, human-in-the-loop is no longer true oversight. It's simply latency dressed up as virtue. We can see why this manual oversight is breaking down by looking at the Stanford AI Index, a major annual report tracking artificial intelligence progress. They found that in 2024, 78% of organizations reported embedding AI into their ordinary work, a massive jump in a single year. This chart shows the primary driver behind that rapid adoption: the collapsing cost of querying these models. Over a 2-year period ending in October 2024, the price to run a baseline system dropped by a factor of 280. The technology became incredibly cheap almost overnight. While costs fell, raw power surged. Capabilities in frontier AI domains have been doubling roughly every 8 months, compounding rapidly against those dropping prices. Yet, as these systems flood into offices, safety transparency is entirely stagnant. According to the AI Agent Index, out of 30 leading AI agents, 25 disclose zero internal safety results. Among those classified as having frontier levels of autonomy, nearly all fail to provide any third-party testing information. We are pushing astonishingly capable systems into search engines, marketing teams, and coding environments, while institutional transparency lags far behind. Capability is compounding faster than our guardrails can adapt, creating a terrifying vacuum in governance. Watching this unfold, it is entirely reasonable to ask, why did developers release these systems into the wild so fast if the institutional guardrails were not ready? The rollout was guided by a specific strategic intentionality. The builders at major labs knew that testing an AI in a closed, controlled environment would only teach them a fraction of what they needed to know about how the system actually behaves. This is because deployed AI is non-deterministic. Unlike traditional software, AI models can produce varying outputs even from the exact same input, and they interact with changing human contexts in unpredictable ways. Lab evaluations simply cannot capture those dynamics. To find the edge cases, the strange misuse patterns, and the broken incentives, the developers needed real-world friction. So the public bypassed the role of an audience and was drafted directly into a massive, live feedback loop to train and stress test these tools. Waiting for contact with reality to identify flaws is a highly effective engineering strategy, but learning from the real world has a steep, tangible price when society is the entity forced to pay for the lessons, and we are already paying that invoice. An August 2025 threat report documented exactly what this contact with reality looks like, including low-skill cybercriminals successfully purchasing and deploying AI-generated ransomware. The exploitation scales quickly to state actors. That same threat intelligence confirmed large-scale extortion operations and fraudulent employment schemes linked directly to North Korea, utilizing these publicly available AI tools to scale their operations. Beyond direct security threats, the rapid integration of AI is fracturing public readiness. UNESCO, the United Nations agency focused on global education, issued a warning that these rapid advances are aggressively widening a new digital divide centered entirely on AI literacy. And meanwhile, major institutional protections arrived late. The European Commission's AI Act timeline shows that vital AI literacy obligations only began applying in February 2025, long after these systems were heavily embedded in daily life. Society was invited into an incredibly complex experiment without a briefing, responding to this collision by either demanding total manual control or blindly trusting the outputs are both forms of bad judgment that leave organizations entirely vulnerable. If manual oversight is dead and the technology is too complex to cage, institutions must redesign their governance around a concept called graduated trust. First, build bounded playgrounds before open highways. Systems get limited authority, expanding their borders only once behavior provides hard evidence of reliability. Second, shift from universal manual review. The system processes work automatically, routing only anomalies for exception-based oversight. This aligns directly with current international standards. The OECD, an intergovernmental organization that shapes global economic policy, specifically recommends this type of proportionate, risk-based governance over blanket caution that leads to organizational paralysis. True safety is not a tired employee clicking approve on 1,000 identical tasks. It is an architecture designed so that trust can be dynamically earned, expanded, or immediately revoked based on a system's actual performance. You can apply this structural shift to your own workflow tomorrow morning. Pick one low-risk, repeatable task, like summarizing a meeting or drafting a product description, and let the AI generate the first draft entirely. Stop rewriting every single line to preserve the illusion of control. Instead, review the output strictly for clear exceptions. Check for factual errors, scan for legal liabilities, or watch for tone risks. Keep a log of where the system holds up and where it drifts. By tracking the failure patterns, you can adjust the tool's authority based on actual, observed performance, rather than superstition or fear. The ultimate test of AI governance will not be whether humans can write stricter rules to micromanage a machine. The test is whether we can remember how to build worthy, adaptive relationships under conditions of risk.